All right. All right, here we go. We are back once again. See? Hey, Rick. First of all, before I even introduce the panel, Rick, look up, look up, look up. See? Me and Quan had the same idea. Thank you. I found the one shirt that I had. So I wanted to make sure and look at you. You phoned it because you ain't even got nothing on. So you trash. See? Anyway, I made sure I held to my bargain. So there you go. So thank you. Thank you, Quan, for holding it down. Because see, I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. I couldn't even start the right way because I wanted to make sure we was doing the right thing.
Nah, what you saying, Rick?
He spitted himself because he on mute.
I said I'm not in any of these organizations, so I can't be, I can't.
Oh my gosh. Now you acting phony. All right, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel, man. First, we got Quan.
What's up, everybody?
All right, we got Rick.
Yo, what's up, dog? Are you? Y'all got nail y'all on. I got to do something, man. I got look. Oh, how about? Oh, hell!
Oh Lord, here we go. And then we got Josh.
Everybody know they're doing.
Oh no, Josh, you done messed up now. Oh Lord, unplug stuff. Unplug it. We do not support that on this show, Josh.
Hey, so first things first, this is a really interesting situation because at no time have we ever had a Sigma on the show. This is new for all of us. So yeah, this is a first. So welcome to the show, man. Before we get everything kicked off and we start the show, man, the first thing I want to do is, like I always start off, tell me, anybody, anything that was great, anything that happened musically, band wise, anything that you've seen within the past week.
Yeah. So for me, I kind of spoke about it Monday, but they had a Battle of the Drumline this weekend in Dallas, Texas. That was put on by Drill Time Productions. Truly outstanding job by those gentlemen. I believe his name is Brandon. But they had a dance competition initially in the beginning, and then they had a drumline competition later that day. Shout out to all of the drumlines that was there, that was represented. They had drumlines from Memphis. Shout out to Dallas area, New Orleans, St. Augustine was there, Roots of Music. Honestly, great job. Great job. I think, in my opinion, thus far, it was one of the best drumline competitions that I've witnessed, as well as had the privilege of my students participating into. So, I mean, for those that are putting on drumline competitions, honestly, that's that competition is going to be there, pushing the envelope for years to come.
So yeah, 100%. I think that's a great thing that those things are happening. As a matter of fact, man, I actually had a chance to sit down and have a conversation with Will Young. And the thing about it with Will Young is I found out that he was really close to the Battle of the Bands that took place here in Dallas as well. The Parish Battle of the Bands. I don't know if you guys heard about that was going on. It was really dope. It was a lot of great directors that were here who were adjudicating. But one of the things that I talked with Will about that I thought was a great thing was the fact that the whole purpose of that Battle of the Bands is to continue to support and uplift and move the culture forward and support in the financial aspect for these different programs. And so I really do appreciate those things. And so it's crazy because it took place right here. And unfortunately, I didn't even catch wind of it until about later. And so had I known about it earlier, I would have I would have made a bigger contribution of, putting it out on the show. But, talking with Mr. Young, one of the things that we're going to do going forward is making sure that I'm a little bit early on that so I can make sure I promote all of that information, next time it comes up. All right. Anything else? Oh, no, I do have something else. But give me 1 second. As a matter of fact, Quan, you can kind of start talking about it a little bit if you want, but I'll kind of lead it off here, man. Something great took place this past week. On Monday, We had an amazing show. This show right here called March. I think this was a dope show. It's a really dope show. And I'm gonna actually say it like this. To me, and I have to make sure I put it out there like this. To me, it's not about Prairie View. Me being a former, assistant band director at Prairie View, I'm very glad to see the Marching Storm a part of, something so major on a major network, and just being able to look at it and say, wow, this is amazing to be able to see that. But it's not necessarily about that, not for me, and it shouldn't be like that for the culture as well. It really should be about is actually being excited and glad and supporting the fact that we have our art being showcased. As educators, a lot of times we always say there is no platform or national showcase for what we do. And now we have something like that that's on a national level. And I just say 100% support. So, I'm definitely going to continue to support that, and show love to that. Did anybody watch it by any chance? Any of you guys watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little sneak peek when I get a chance. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched the whole. I think that just in addition to what you said, it's just extremely well done, man. Like the show was it was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the biggest thing, and we'll get a chance to talk to Hop about it, is, at the end of the day, Prairie View is one of those bands that people don't really know much about the inner workings of the band. They know what they see. They know what they hate on a regular basis. They know all those things, but they don't know how that band operates, who the people are that are in the charge of the band, and, just overall, getting a chance to meet those kids, man. So I think that, just from a standpoint of exposure, this is going to be a big thing, but also just, seeing some of the trials and tribulations they deal with. They're not bougie. No, they're not none of that stuff. They just do things differently. And I think this is going to be a good opportunity to see how that's done. So.
Absolutely, 100%. And like you said, Hot will be on to just kind of talk about it and give his synopsis and things of that nature. So I actually look forward to that conversation, man, and hearing what he has to say about it. All right. Okay. If we've gotten everything out of the way, then let's go ahead and get the show started. So let me start it the right way and do it the way we always do it. So welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Please make sure that as soon as you come in, you go ahead and smash that like button. If you're just now walking into the show, I appreciate you coming in. We appreciate the support, but go ahead and click a like button. Let's get these likes up. I always say I want the likes to match the number of views that we have. Also, please make sure that you go over to the YouTube channel. If you're watching us on Facebook, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. All right. Also, Spotify. I gotta put that out there. Oh, but go ahead.
Now I'm gonna say, where all the Legion people at, man? We get to talk to our band director, man. Where all the Legion people at? In the comments. If you from the Legion, I need to see some people from the Legion representing. I see a lot of I see Devin from PV, but where are all the Legion people at?
Well, you already know that I'm gonna go ahead and re-blast it out, so you ain't got to worry about it. I'm gonna put it in there. Tina, there she go.
Hey, Tina, hey, rookie sister. Me and Tina grew up together. Y'all already know that's my girl.
All right. So also, please make sure, or just remember once again, that we are on Spotify. So if you don't get a chance to catch us right at the beginning, you can catch us on Spotify at Real Talk That Talk. Okay, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Let's go ahead and get it started. I'm going to actually lead with something that me and you talked about, Rick. Conversation that me and you had, and maybe you can elaborate on it. I know that I can, but I don't think I would do it justice the way that you would do. So let's do it this way. Do we care about Black kids that go to non-Black schools? Do we care about Black kids that go to non-Black schools? Now, Quan is looking at it like, what? All right. So if you want, Rick, can you just elaborate on that for me, please?
Yeah, Julian and I were having a conversation, y'all. And it revolved around a couple of things. It revolved around how the lack of recruitment at school, at non-traditional HBCU style schools, right? Like being able to get into some of these schools. Like we always have this conversation about, the HBCU style versus the core style. All these different talks about approach to playing and whatever that may be. There are a lot of black kids that go to those schools, but very few of our schools go to those people and try to recruit those kids to our program. So that's the first side of it. The other side of it is these kids have been blasted by these people that have no appreciation for our art form, which is show style band. Their band directors, in a lot of instances, I've heard it myself. When I was in high school, my band director told us outright, y'all shouldn't go to Norfolk State. They don't know what they're doing. He actually told us that. And I was an all-state player. I was in everything. I was Virginia Honor Band, all that. And I went to Norfolk State. So it's a two-part, issue. The lack of investment in those kids from those schools, and then the fact that those kids don't get positive affirmation when it comes to what we do as show style bands. So it turns into the two fighting each other. And then for me, I think the last part is, what is important. We sit up here and we are all in this business to try to advocate for what we love, and that's HBCU bands, HBCUs in general, and black people. That's what we all stand for, right? So at the end of the day, what is important? Is it just, do we just care about the kids we know we can get? Or as directors, are we going to put the investment in, especially at the collegiate level, to go into some of these schools we may not be comfortable in, or we may not, have a relationship per se, and say, hey, those kids can come to my school and make us better. So I wonder, do people just not care about those kids? Exactly, Tina. They pushed us to JMU. Those were the only two schools I applied to, Norfolk State and JMU. I used to listen to JMU tapes in my Walkman. and
JMU, big dog.
James Madison University, dog. If you ain't never seen their band, go check them out. 450-piece band, blowing the walls down. They were Spirit of JSU, which is Jacksonville State, the JSU everybody knows now. Like they were that back then, So James Madison University, and their band's still great. But so I just raised the question, man: do we care about those kids, or do we only care about kids that do what we do? And I think that's a lot of the conversation. I think that's a lot of the reason why people get so upset with me, because they know I've done a lot of things on the other side with core style, with drum corps and so forth. So do we care about our people everywhere, or do we only care about the people that do what we do or agree with us?
All right. So I know that Rick gave a lot of insight on it, and I know he's still going to answer the actual question. But seeing as he gave the insight, then Quan, you go ahead and kick off the actual answers.
All right. So I have to be unfiltered and honest with my answer. In my opinion, from my standpoint, I do feel that we care about all students. But just like you basically expressed, Rick, I do feel like there are band directors on the other side that attended PWIs that have specific stigmas about historical Black colleges that say those things. And then it becomes, excuse my French, but like a pissing competition, that my university is better than yours, that my teaching and my studio was better than yours. And they haven't experienced, the HBCU culture. They don't understand, what we endeavor through. So they just be like, nah, don't go there, And the truth is, to a degree, it's borderline racist, in my opinion. Again, do I feel like every person is like that? No. But from our experiences, it's flat out racist because you don't know this particular group of people, you don't know that department, but yet and still you assume that they're in this way. I've been on job interviews with fine arts directors that literally said, I don't think Prairie View has a good department. And I was like, well, where do you hear that from? Well, we speak like that amongst our fine arts directors. So if it's happening at that level, then damn well it's happening at the secondary level to recruit these people. And then to a degree, like I say, it may not be all band directors, so I don't want to generalize, but I do believe that some of these predominantly white institutions feel like they're the creme de la creme of their particular conference or the band world, so we don't have to recruit. So I don't feel like they're reaching out to for example, I've never had a University of Houston, and I'm just using it for example, not saying that they wouldn't, but they've never knocked on my door and was like, hey, would your kids be interested? When I was living in Louisiana, they never knocked on, at the time, LSU didn't knock on the door and was like, would you consider coming here? But it was those people from those HBCUs. And I'm pretty sure my band director was willing to let anyone come through the door. But do we care about non-Black students or all minorities or all people? I do believe we do, because we know how it feels to be rejected or placed, to the side, or even what is the word? Perceived that, that we're incapable of competing with our counterparts and other races due to the color of our skin or the area that we grew up at. I do think that's valid. Me personally, do I care for all students? Yes, but I have to be honest with myself. I truly feel that people of color should experience an historical Black college, not just for the band aspect, but because I believe that historical Black colleges is a place in these United States of America where you can be you and where you can find you, and that you can appreciate your culture regardless of whatever it is. You're not judged. When we know that in other facets and other areas and arenas of the world, you have to be a certain way. And we know that code switching is real. So we know that's real. So I do believe that we care for all, but everybody does not have that same mindset. And some of those directors honestly are looking for specific things as well.
Bet. Okay. Josh, do we care about Black kids that go to non-Black schools?
Yeah, like to piggyback off what he was just saying. I think he said, did you say culture switching was real or code switching was?
Code switching.
Code switching. Yeah, like what he was saying is like, I like that because like, I think at this point now we have to accept it. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to Black kids going to like predominantly white institutions, I think like as educators and band directors, man, if we know that they're going to like go to those type of schools, I guess like the best we can do is like just warn them as educators, hey, look, man, what you're used to doing over here, or what you've been hearing, or, what you've been hearing about HBCUs and et cetera, let me pull you to the side and let me tell you, this is not what this is going to be. So you won't have a financial problem. You won't have a class problem. You won't, they won't be calling their mamas or friends. But man, I think I went to the wrong school. I don't like this. This is not where I came from. This is not what my band director has been telling me about his experience this whole time, being in college. Because, as educators, we talk about our experiences. So therefore they can go to college. And now that they're gonna take the opportunity to go to not an HBCU, but a PWR, I guess that just comes with us as educators to just be like, hey, let me just tell you what's real. You're not gonna you might not experience the same experience that I've been telling you all these years in our classroom or inside of the band hall, or etc. So do we care? I think we do care. I think we honestly do care, man, because when you grow up into a culture that you're used to, it's hard to change. And it's hard to see the other mirror or the other side of everything what goes on. And but I think honestly, like at the end of the day, man, if a child is just if a student or a child is just happy to go somewhere else than where we were used to going or originated going to, then that's that person, you know what I'm saying? That's that person's choice. And it's something that we can do as long as they're happy. And you know, that's what happens at the end of the day. That's what happens at the end of the day, as long as they're happy. But still give them a fair warning before they go, you know. So yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go, Josh. You popped your little cherry. So we good now. So you got it out the way. There you go. First topic. Congratulations. All right. Rick, do we care about black kids that go to non-black schools?
I think we do. I think this conversation for me is a lot more nuanced, right? I think the first part of it is exposure. Do we have access to those buildings? You know what I'm saying? Do we have access to those students? I can remember when we first got to PV, how hard it was for us to be able to go to some of these schools and just to try to recruit. I think the other side of the question is they don't want us there. A lot of these schools, they have preconceived notions about our programs and preconceived notions about us as musicians to where they preach that onto us. Like I'm one of those kids. I went to a predominantly white school in a city with one of the most historically relevant HBCU band style band, high school bands on the East Coast. I see Norcom High School. Nobody from an HBCU came to Churchland to recruit us. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. But I see Norcom, everybody was over there to get those kids. I have a lot of rookie brothers and sisters that are from there. So I think it's on both sides, man. Yeah, we care about our people. But you have to have access to be able to get in the building to be able to recruit those kids. That's the first part, right? The second part is getting your pride and ego out the way to do the work to get into those spaces if it's something you want to do. I know things that I don't know. I know what those things are. And what I do as a person is I fight to either better myself in those areas or at least be presentable, right? I know I'm not a big fan of early music, you know, the medieval period, you know, into the Renaissance. I'm just not a big fan of that music. But I have extensively studied, especially over the last 2 years, because I know I want to teach music history. So it's something that I need to be better at, right? That same thing goes into being a band director. If you want to be a band director, you need to be constantly studying, constantly exposing yourself to things you don't like, things that you aren't interested in, things that you will probably never do, but you still going to have to expose yourself to them because that's what being an educator is. Because that might spark that interest in that student in your class that everybody else is not interested in. I remember being in music history class, y'all, and being the only person awake. And that was in my master's degree. When I got my master's degree, there was 3 of us in class. and I was the only one awake. You know, everybody else dozing in and out. So I think that, do we care about our people? I think for the most part, yes. But I think it requires, and Quan says this on the show all the time, it requires us to humble ourselves. Excuse me. It requires us to humble ourselves. You know, humble. We got to humble ourselves and understand that. Hey, Julian, Doc told me to tell you he's been trying to get in, bro. So, yeah, reach out to him.
Let him in.
Yeah. It requires us to humble ourselves. We can't hear you, Julian. I'm sorry to break that train of thought, but we don't want to lose him. And he just called and text me. Call him, Julian, please. But yeah, y'all, like, what is the investment that comes from these HBCU programs outside of the comfort zone? Like, Quan, you went to Prairie View. That was the thing that helped us, Quan, when I got there, bro. Was that we said, okay, we know our schools, our base, Jack Yates, you know, SOC up in Dallas, all the Dallas area. We invested major dollars into recruiting in the Dallas area because we knew we got a lot of students from there. Texas Southern had a bigger hold on Houston, but we were still at these, you know, events and stuff trying to do things to get Houston kids. But we said, okay, what can I do outside of that comfort zone to get the type of students in here that we want? And so we started reaching out to people, you know, like right there at Waller County High School. They wouldn't let PV people in the door at one point. And then I realized I went over there and I realized that my section leader from Cadets 2001 is the band director at Waller High School. So I called him up and I'm like, bro, let us come talk to these kids. He was like, man, I had no idea you were at Prairie View. I was like, yeah, this is my first year. Let us come talk to the kids. It's that type of thing. Like you said, Quan, people in the city of Houston that wouldn't even, they would take PV student stuff and rip it up if it came across for a job interview because of that same misconception that you're talking about. So I think at the end of the day, y'all, yes, we care about our people, but I think it's the other side too. They have to be, if we're interested in recruiting those kids, they have to be open to saying, okay, it ain't about me. It's about this kid. And it's about this kid's future and this kid's education. And if that's not the number one thing that they thinking about, then hell, man, I don't want to work with somebody that's like that. F them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. I want F you, the band director, not the kid. And shoot, call the kid on your own, man. Send him a text. Get on Instagram. You know his name. You know what I'm saying? If it's a kid that's in Allstate, go right down that Allstate. Oh, there he go right there. Such and such high school. Do the necessary work to get that kid in your program. So, yeah, it's all about investment. Go ahead, Quan.
But I think you said a mouthful in the blessing of like avenues that you have, because you've been on both sides of the spectrum in regards of show style as well as core style. And so you have an avenue, or what's the word I'm looking for? Basically like a gateway to get in certain spaces.
A slight advantage is what you're saying.
That some of us, we may not. And when you said he was a cadet and you're a cadet, y'all have a sense of relation. So, but the problem is when you don't have that connection of relation, people just go off of assumption. Prime example, we do it and look at what we're fighting against. Prime example, like we joke about, Southern being the kings and whatnot. But for a fact in the HBCU world, if you say you're from Southern, because of the recognition and the popularity of that band, people going to look at you a certain way outside of if I say I'm from Virginia Union. Like they're going to question like a aspect of your expertise when you may be just as good as that individual that's from Southern. So we're fighting against that. Plus we're fighting the name game. If I say that I graduated from A&M, that's a completely different aspect in the state of Texas from then I'm saying, well, I graduated from Prairie View and I love my school, but that's just the reality of it. And those are the things that we're fighting against. And those individuals on the other side, I think that they care about their students, but I also think they're closed-minded on things that they didn't experience. Like, for example, like your resume stands for its own, Rick, same for Julian. You'll graduate from all three of us. I'll just meet you, Joshua, but all three of us are graduates from PWIs. You Texas Tech, Julian, you Rick, you about to do UConn. I went to Adams State. All of those are PWI. So we have two different experiences of HBCU world and PWI. And and I know some individuals from the PWI world, they don't want to understand what's going on in the HBCU world. They don't want to empathize and because we could tell them, yeah, we got resources, issues, and all of that. They don't understand that. And I hate to say it like this, sometimes that's the aspect of white privilege that we won't ever understand, and we won't ever get them to understand that it's a completely different world out here.
But how do you
you got it. Go ahead.
How do you, Quan? So I agree with you 100%, right? Act like I have different experiences. I get that part, right? But the other part of it is this. How many groups are actually trying to reach out to those kids, right? That's a whole nother conversation entirely, right? Like we made that investment. Yeah, I used the resources I had. Absolutely. I know some of these people. So if we respect their band programs, hell, the Woodlands, I know Joni. So I can reach out to her and say, hey, y'all are a BOA champion, less than an hour away from Prairie View. I can get in that band room, right? I get that part. But the thing about it is, and I think what the question is asking is, how many people are actually making that investment to begin with? Is it a priority? Like, oh, I'm just good with what I know I can get. No, my thing is, Quan, and you know this, everybody that knows me know this. I'm in this for all our people. The ones we think are lost, the ones we think are broken, all that. I ain't God, but I want that same type of, agape love, right? Like that, that I want every person to be involved in what we're talking about, that experience, the ultimate music education experience. So for me, I think that I think we're missing an opportunity. I guess that's the best way of saying it. We talk on this show all the time about how HBCU bands are dying, right? If I can go get 20, 30 people from a grade 6 wind ensemble school, that is instantly going to make my program better. See, I'm thinking big picture. We got to look outside of just, the small things. Well, they over there blowing. Most people recruit at these colleges, Quan, for a marching band. They ain't worried about nothing else but marching band. For me, I'm a big picture person. Okay. Am I providing an experience that's going to send my people to college and be able to get a college education? We all know you don't just have to have a college education to be successful, but it helps. Damn it. Like, I don't care what nobody say. You can sit up there and say what you want. It helps. Studies show on average people that go to college make $2 more million in their life than people that don't. All right. So, they can miss me with that argument. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm in this for all Black people. And there's an opportunity for all of our bands to be better if we simply just step a little bit out of the comfort zone and go into some of these places where we may not be familiar. I don't know everybody, but I'm not scared to get on the phone and say, hey, this is what I have to offer. These are my credentials, because those bands and the bands we're talking about that we will want those type of people. You ain't just going to come in there and say, hey, my name is Rick and I'm here just to be here. No. My name is Professor Brown, soon to be Dr. Brown. Like, I'm leading like that, soon to be, and I've done this, such and such and such. I appreciate that your band is a BOA finalist, and I would like to have the opportunity to recruit some of your students. And then here's the kicker. It don't just have to be your Black students. I'm here to recruit students. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just thinking out of the box, man. Always trying to come up with strategies that are going to make our band programs better. There's a reason why FAMU's wind ensemble is untouched in HBCU band. Nobody's wind ensemble can touch FAMU. They played at Carnegie Hall all over the place. There are a lot of very good ones. When I think about great wind ensembles that I've heard, because I haven't heard everybody, because you don't really see those videos as much. Southern University has a decent wind ensemble. Jackson State, Prairie View, Bethune-Cookman. Like, there are some good wind ensembles out there. You know what I'm saying? And these, we need to be able to staff all facets, because at the end of the day, it's music education. It's not marching band. It's music education. So, yeah.
I agree, bro. For real.
I agree.
All right. That was a good way to kick that off, man. So thank you, Rick. And I guess the conversations in which we kind of have offline that leads to that. So let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it pushing. Welcome, everybody, to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. As soon as you come in, go ahead and click that like button. Hey, man, we got to get these likes up, man. I say it every week. I appreciate everybody commenting. But while you comment, go ahead and click that like button. It don't take much. Just click it. I don't even care if you give it a thumbs down. I tell you that all the time. But go ahead and click one of those, man. Go ahead and click that like button. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. Also, if you miss anything at the beginning of this conversation, you can check us out on Spotify at Real Talk That Talk. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Oh, give me a second. I had to clear my voice out. Clear the throat. All right. So I got to set this up the right way. So let me do this the right way. So Josh is a former student of mine. For those people who don't know, I used to work in Beaumont in the Golden Triangle. And before I moved to Ozan High School, where they stole me from Central, I was at Central for a year, working with Carl Collins and the assistant band director, and Josh was a student at the time. And he went on to Alcorn State University. Did I say it the right way? Alcorn. I wanted to make sure I say it right because
Yes,
people
sir.
say Alcorn. Yeah. So, but I've been following Josh's career ever since he left Central, and he's become a very influential band director. And so, I wanted to make sure I set that up before I go into the next thing. So I hit Josh up yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, man, I saw a video that you put up, and I want to let you know off top, I really don't believe in it, but I mean, you pretty successful in it." So, I chose not to put the video out there, but ultimately, it was just a video of him and his students, and it's a sixth grade marching band, and so it was your sixth grade kids, right? Because I don't want to say it the wrong way.
Sixth, fifth, a couple second, and fourth. Yeah.
Okay, so sixth, fifth, second, fourth. All right. So that's what the video was, and like I said, I didn't want to put it in there because I just didn't want to put the babies online like that. You know what I'm saying? And put them out in the public eye. So I just wanted to do the right thing. But the question is on the floor. The question that we have right now is marching band in middle school okay? Is marching band in middle school okay? And then since I led it that way, Josh, go ahead and kick it off.
Okay. So a little background, real quick, man. Is marching band in middle school okay? What we see is like what we see, and then you don't see anymore. What kind of piss you off as a band director? You know what I'm saying? Me personally, it's like I just like to be in my own zone. I like to be in my own lane when it comes to me being just my music career as a whole. I don't really, I don't really like to just follow folks and like what they say what should happen or how everything should go when it comes towards this or that or et cetera in life. I just like to be in my own lane because at the end of the day, when we die, we're gonna be in our own casket. So you might as well go out happy your own way. When I was in Beaumont, like when Mr. Luke was there in Beaumont at that time, middle schools in Beaumont and around those times, middle schools has marching band programs. But we wasn't just there, they wasn't just stuck on marching band programs. I promise you, I completely understand how middle school marching band will go south. Because what a lot of band directors do nowadays, especially like around my age, is literally just marching band. No concert, no working on basic fundamentals, no anything. Just blow it down and keep it pushing. Well, that's wrong. That's wrong. And then like when you see that, when you mostly see that all over social media, that's the picture that we have of middle school marching bands. You know what I'm saying? I made sure when I came back to Beaumont, because like I tell people all the time, man, my dream is to come back and work at the high school. Right? My dream is to come back and work at the high school and be over high school out here one day. But I did realize when I left Central and I went to college, high schools out here became small. It became small. And this is an unfiltered.
I agree.
Yeah. This is an unfiltered webcast. So I'm going to just keep it how it is. When I was at Central knows that used to at least be 80, 90 deep off the rip. Okay. And at the time, it was like 15 on back. Bands was big. I go to college. When I came back, I'm like, damn, like, why is the number shrinking every day? Why is the number shrinking every year? Every year, the numbers are shrinking. It goes back to your feeder program. As band directors, one of the main blessings is your feeder program. If you don't have a feeder program, you have to do everything under the sun in order to make your high school band program look like a high school band program, depending on what your definition of a high school band program is, because like I said, whatever you see is what you would know about the world. So I came back out here to Beaumont and I'm like, damn, what happened? King Middle School don't have a band program no more. Smith Middle School ain't doing nothing. This band ain't doing nothing. Kids just not enjoying band. They're just not enjoying band. I've grown up in Beaumont. I know how it used to be. Why are kids not enjoying band in middle school? So I started thinking to myself, I'm like, what's going to change out here in order to grow the high school band programs? I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it 100. our high school out here, Beaumont United High School. My middle school was bigger than them. My middle school was bigger than the high school. When they first collabed, I say all together they were probably like 125, 130. This was literally like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Now the band program, you might got 45 in there. And by 45, 25, 30 of them is woodwinds. So I'm from Beaumont. I'm like, man, what's going on with the high schools out here? Let's go back to the basics. Marching bands in middle school. I said, you know what? Let me go and get the job at a middle school then, because I know how important it is for high school band directors to have a feeder program in order to raise the middle school. I talked to my finance director at that time. His name was oh damn, it's at the tip of my tongue. But my finance director at that time, the rival bands that's out here is Port Arthur Memorial and Beaumont United High School, right? They go at it with each other all the time. Why is it that in our hometown, man, we're just getting outplayed every time when it comes towards our middle school band program? I mean, when it comes to our high school band program, I just feel like us in Beaumont, we take L's every time. Port Arthur has a very good feeder middle school band program out here. And also, I remember a lot of the things that our high school band directors has talked about when it came towards how they wish their recruitment can come in. If high school band directors have a recruitment system to where the ninth graders already kind of adjust to what they have going on and know how the system and the format goes, it makes a high school band director job 10 times more easier. So I just felt like that was my place being a middle school band program. But also, you know, when it comes to a middle school band program, is it okay? Well, you have to build the kids up the correct way. This is my first year at Peach MacArthur. There's never been a band program ever at all, and we're 67 deep. Next year, I literally want to be like 100 and something deep. And I think it's okay, but I will tell you guys this, and I will be honest to close this on this. I think it's okay, but one, I guess, backlash that I do get from some people is that, Mr. Robinson, you're going to burn the kids out before they get to high school, right? That was like, if you start them too early, and they learning this and they learning all that, you're going to burn them out. They're not going to want to do college and high school. They're not going to want to do college. Band in high school, and they might not want to do band in college. Well, this is what I say today, and I got over their hump already. We love to say that band is a sport, right? We love saying band is a sport. Let's not be picky when it comes towards putting sports and band in the same sentence, right? Why do I think that kids won't ever get burnt out if you just keep your band program high and fun? This is why I say that. If we all have children right now, little Billy, little Johnny, little Sally, if she go play AAU basketball and AAU football at 5, 6 years old, what we all thinking? Oh yeah, she gonna go to the NBA when she get older. Oh yeah, she gonna be good when she get to high school. When she get to college, when she get older, she gonna be cold because she's psychologically understanding something at a young age that most kids don't understand at her age. So if we think that all our little babies can do so good at summer basketball at 5 years old, summer baseball at 6 years old, you want him to go be the next Tom Brady. You want him to be the next Tom GOAT. Keep the same thing with band. It's the same thing. It's not no such thing as starting them too young in something. Because if you think that they'll be good at a young age in sports, you don't think they're going to get burnt out by the time they get to college, right or wrong. We just going to think he's going to be that next superstar. So I just feel like middle school marching band is totally fine as long as you're teaching it the correct way. We do, my students know their scales. They know their concert music. They know marching band. And I literally just want the high school band programs to be able to push that, to have that extra push and beginners to come to their high school band programs as they come to the next level. Yeah.
All right. And let me actually say something and before I let the next person go. Josh is definitely absolutely right. Just in the sense of Beaumont. When I was there was definitely a lot more active band going on. And even when I was at Central and when I was at Ozan, those bands are actually smaller than what they were in the previous like 3 or 4 years. But you know, a lot of things happened in Beaumont. That was kind of the reason why I left. But with that being said, though, there was the merger between Ozan and Central. And now I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, they just had a band director change, I think about a year or so ago at BU, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and then I didn't even know King wasn't even as active anymore. But what I will say, and I know that we talked about this on the show, if we all remember, my former student that I was talking to you guys about before, Andrew, the tuba player who was at Alcorn, he started out on tuba in a marching band on sousaphone. So when I got him, he already knew about sousaphone, and you know, that's kind of where his playing style kind of developed from. So yeah, he's absolutely right as far as the culture in Beaumont. So I 100% will back him on the history of that. Okay, so let's keep it moving. Is marching band in middle school okay? Quan.
Okay. I guess this is kind of tough for me because, just like Josh, I grew up in an area where we had middle school marching bands. Now, as I matriculated through this career, I have to respectfully disagree to middle school marching bands. Not that I'm not a fan of it if you're doing it right or whatever your prerogative on how you want to run the band program. But as a high school band director, here's the reality: what I care for more. I care for tone and intonation, and I care that you understand the fundamentals of of reading rhythms and whatnot. Historically, if you look at a lot of the states that had like adequate middle school, first of all, adequate elementary programs, middle school programs, and then they started marching band in high school, those programs flourished for several years with outstanding players for state, so forth and so on. I remember the very first time I spoke to a band director from Atlanta when Southwest DeKalb was in like his prime. I was like, man, like this band is outstanding. Like they could play, they can do this, and you know, technical stuff. He said, well, elementary, they start band, middle school, they do band, but they're not marching. They just sit down and focusing on their tone, center of pitch, and those things. He says nothing for me to teach them how to march. The marching part is easy, but my focus is their playing. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the toss up, because sometimes, and we have to be honest with ourselves with the middle school aspect, aesthetically, they got to be marching on the same foot. Aesthetically, we have to ensure that from the entertainment part is on point too, because you don't want a product where it's just, you know, half-assed. So in my opinion, if I can teach you to sit down and focus on how to play these scales, focus on the correct embouchure, the correct vowel shaping, the correct articulation. If I can do that from, just say, like you said, second grade to eighth grade, it's nothing for me. That is going to, like, it's nothing to pick up your legs, or if you have a horn swing or whatever the case may be. Also, I just have to go on the adverse effect with you, Josh, because what you're stating, in my opinion, is an infrastructure issue. And I stated it before. For example, I think you named King Middle School, and I think it was like 2 or 3 of the high schools you said in Beaumont, right? So I would have to, I guess, to make my determination, I would have to ask, well, why did those band directors leave? That's number one. How were they, you know, overall teaching their students, and why are those students not going, and how are those schools investing into music so that they can matriculate to Beaumont United? Because correct me if I'm wrong, it's like Beaumont United and it's like Westbrook, right? It's like 2 schools that's in Beaumont. Now, I'm pretty sure that, you know, Westbrook possibly took some hit with numbers just overall, but if you look at the stability of the program, that makes the difference. A lot of the time, bro, when you look at, like, I'm gonna use the Houston area, most of these predominantly Black and Hispanic schools have high turnover rates. And most of the time, their feeder programs are non-existent. Most of the time, not all, but most. But if you go to the affluent neighborhood, they have fine arts departments where they literally ensure that these programs are sustainable for years. If you look at, I student taught at, I'm not gonna say the name, but I student taught in Fort Bend ISD. The smallest the band has ever been to this day was 175. 3 feeder programs. All of them were like all state, focused on UIL. All he had to do was teach them how to walk, and they were done. But when it came to their music, the head band director went there, and guess what? Here's your music for UIL. As soon as the summertime hit, okay, here's your warm-up package. They had a system. A lot of the time, the predominantly urban schools, we don't have systems in place that could sustain these type of programs. Think about it. If he was the middle school band director, he may be the only band director there. At that middle school, they got 3 on staff. And who was ever the head also works with the high school. And then the high school band director had a relationship with the middle school. So then he did summer camps. And then they knew the guy. They knew his breathing techniques. And they taught that in the middle school so that when he got to high school, he had to reteach it. These are the things that we fail, honestly, from the aspect of in urban areas. We have breakdowns in systems. And that's why I will continue to say we have infrastructure issues and gaps in these programs. Think about it. Like, I have my middle school program is only 3 years old, and 1 year was COVID. So I'm recruiting every day from the cafeteria during lunch, just like many other directors that I know. So the question is marching band in middle school okay? Now that I'm a little bit older, let me say this, for me, I would say no. Because I've also seen the aspect where when you have after school drum lines and that's all the kids want to play, and then they don't want to hop on the horn either. Because little Johnny been playing snare from 6th grade and he's gotten good in 8th grade. Well, he going on to play snare when my band may not have the ability to have 12 snares. It's stuff like that we just have to consider. But if it works for you, hey, bro, keep up the good fight, though.
Right.
Okay. And I guess because I actually have a personal relationship with the culture in Beaumont, I can kind of help you out just a little bit on some of the questions that you asked. I know Mr. Bryant, God rest his soul, former finance director in Beaumont. When it comes to the infrastructure, well, let me go back. Why people left, right? I know why I left. I left Beaumont at the time because there was an embezzlement situation.
Oh yeah.
During my time as an educator in Beaumont, there was an embezzlement situation that had took place that had actually rocked the district. And so they were actually letting a lot of people go. And at that time, I was like, I'm not trying to get caught up in that sweep. And a lot of things that were happening financially to a lot of the educators at the time, like even the principal that I had at the time, I got caught up in some mess that actually wasn't his fault. So I know why I left. I can't speak for all the other directors, but at the time I was originally I started out as the assistant at the middle school at Smith Middle School, and then was with Central, and then I was at Ozan for 2 years, and then that happened, and blah blah blah. So I can actually speak to that particular situation. I will say that infrastructure was definitely an issue during that time. I will say that, Quan. I can't deny that. But I mean, there were still some things that could have been better that I remember distinctly as a band director at that time. So just kind of want to give a little context. All right. Rick, is marching band in middle school okay?
I'm gonna start here, man. Josh, you brought up Port Arthur. I think you said Port Arthur Memorial. I think you said.
Right.
Is that a show style school?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And you said they are waxing Beaumont every year. What in your opinion makes them better than Beaumont? Like what are they doing that's better? I just like to start there.
So you have URL numbers, you have the size, and you have engagement with the community. That's literally my top 3 things.
What about musically?
Musically,
They on, bro.
more up to date, more community involved with the music wise, and old school too. Because that is Frazier and Mark Ward. They kind of they like my no Mark Ward. None of them. They probably y'all age. Probably y'all age. So it's like it's genres all over. It's genres all over. It's genres all over. So that's pretty much what I can say towards it.
Well, I guess I'm asking more from a pedagogical standpoint, right? Like, yeah, they play better music. That's that we all know that song selection is important, right? A lot of the bands that we bring up on the show went out just simply because they play stuff that is more engaging and stuff like that. So I get that part, but I guess I'm asking more so from a technical standpoint. Do their kids come in with good articulation? Is it in tune? Are they starting and stopping together? Like those basic things. Are they doing that drastically better than Beaumont, or is it simply that they're just playing better music? Like, in your opinion?
I say both, because like I said, I love my city, Beaumont. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I love all band programs, man. But it's like if you know that it could be better, then it can be better.
Right.
And yeah, I've literally sat in it's like the system that Pull Out the Memorial has over there. Like I've sat with Mr. Frazier and Mr. Mark Ward this past summer, and they put me on game. They give me a lot of gems about everything, that how they do things, how they function. You know what I'm saying? The people that they invite over and everything to help them articulate better and run their band program. Like they had a drum thing with they had a drum practice with Mr. Hart from Southern University. I think for like a week straight or a couple of days. Just small things like that to help the students play better and everything. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so I've never heard the video of your band, Josh, so I'm not, I don't have an opinion there as far as what you're doing. From a recruitment standpoint, if that's what people are using middle school band for, I'm all about it, man. Get the kids in the door. The biggest issue I've had when I've heard that is that those young kids are trying to play like the videos that they watch on online. Like, I'm gonna use this as an example, and I know it's a little different. So all my New Orleans people, please don't crucify me in the comments or whatever. But there was a middle school. I remember back when we were in college, there was a middle school. They used to wear uniforms that looked kind of like the Legion. They were like purple and gold, and it was a middle school, and they had a marching band from New Orleans. What is the name? Robin, you in the comments. What is the name of that school from? Is it Saint something?
You talking about St. Aug?
St. Aug? Yeah. St. Aug. Saint, I think it's St. Augustine. Yeah.
Yeah, St. Aug.
St. Aug, yeah. I remember watching those videos, and I remember this from college. I remember saying, damn, they sound just like Southern. And I'm wondering how many of those kids actually go on to join, the high school band and go on to Southern. I'm not sure. I guess my issue is there's a lot of things that happens at the middle school level that marching band can be detrimental to, right? I can always tell when a kid has not received proper training for armature development, because when I see their faces look like, we used to call it shredded hamburger meat. There's no blood flow, so the lips are all white in the center, and it looks like somebody literally punched them in the face. So with a lip like that, it's very, very difficult to create warm sounds, right? Like people say round sound or whatever that may be for you, right? So that's instantly taken off the table. Secondly, the neglect of woodwind sections. When you have a big marching band like that, people don't want to hear that woodwind sound. They're looking for that aggressive marching band sound. 3, instrumentation, right? There is Julian and I have talked about this, and I don't know if it's going to be a topic, so I don't want to go too much into it. But certain instruments are hurting in our bands. You go across the country, how many actual French horn players do you know that go to these HBCU style programs? Oboe players. Donnie was one of the first people I knew at PV that was an actual oboe player in high school. But he also played trumpet. He marched trumpet in the marching band, right? He had to pick up another instrument from his major instrument. So instrumentation. You talked about song selection. All of that's cool. Why can't we do all those things that make it fun in a way that is still teaching developmental things? It takes on average 2 to 3 years to develop the embouchure to the level to play with the volume that we're asking these kids to play with. 2 to 3 years. We got babies out there trying to blow like they see on TV. And I don't know if a lot of these instructors are telling these kids that there's an actual specific way that Southern's able to make that volume. Some of those kids, grew up in wherever they grew up and been playing trumpet or whatever they play for, 6, 7, 8 years, So I have a lot of concerns about it. I'm not going to give a yay or nay. It's bad. It's good. If it's like you said, Joseph, Josh, if it's taught in a way where you're still hitting the fundamentals, man, go for it. Have a good time. You out there, somebody comes in early, you cut that off. Everybody, make sure you take the appropriate breath all the way through the last 16th note, and then instantly turn the air around, come in. Like those type of corrections, I'm all for it. Hey guys, that's not the right timbre. All right, you can play fortissimo without having to play with a bright, nasty sound. Like those type of comments, I'm all for it. But I don't ever see that happen, and I'm not going to say it doesn't happen because I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and be a judge. All people from what I've seen, but the videos I've seen haven't been promising. It's been more damaging than it is helpful. From a recruitment standpoint, I'm sure it is fun. I'm sure the kids have a good old time. The fact of the matter is sometimes and I said it on the show and it made people mad. I don't care. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes just because something is fun, that don't mean that you put everything else aside that's not fun. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, we're trying to build great musicians. We're not trying to build marching band people. When Mr. Hopkins goes out to recruit, Mr. Hopkins ain't up there saying, hey, bro, hey, play that I Like It Like That or that Rub You to. Like, he ain't saying that. He's saying, okay, play me 2 etudes. And that's another conversation we can have. Band directors, teach your kids how to audition for a college, because it's embarrassing when you show up and you got Big Pookie on the bass drum and all he can do is just beat the hell out that bass drum and can't do nothing else for the audition. And then expecting a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 per semester scholarship. Like, come on,
why the dude got to be named Big Pookie?
Hey, because they use oh, Big Quan. So yeah, man, I think that if done the right way, cool. But we don't always see that. So I'll end there, man. I don't want to be long-winded. Yep. Teach your kids how to audition for colleges. We don't want to hear all these marching band songs. We want to hear scales. We want to hear 2 etudes of varying styles. We want to see, your musicianship. So, yeah.
Right, yeah, and that's one thing that I make sure that we go over too, man. We go like I tell my kids all the time, every scale and every chromatic scale is gonna unlock another song. And until we get that, then we'll go to another song and et cetera, et cetera. So like I was saying, I know a lot of band directors who, they'll just teach them the wrong way. Let's just crank up. No, not crank up, but let's just play loud and just play, et cetera. But we do a lot of basic fundamentals. Like that's literally what we based off that. That's literally our breadwinner. We based off our fundamentals a lot. Like I teach my snare drummers how to do all their rudiments. My summer players, even though they play summers, because I know as a summer player, you have to know your rudiments too. So I make sure they know that. And like I know one of the main one of the main people that I've talked to at Alcorn, we had a we had a drumline competition one time, and what made me like just have that visual is when I saw the Rooster Music for the first time in my life. And like when I saw the Rooster Music, I was like, okay, all these kids sitting up here, you know, they young, but they know their skills, they know their rudiments, they know etc. Just like the high schools are, etc. So that's kind of where I got that format from, to like who can I be towards a middle school band director too, because not only that they're playing just music, they know their basic fundamentals to everything and etc. So yeah, man, I'm teaching. Yeah, we learn a lot of basic fundamentals and everything that we do too.
Yeah, keep that up, bro. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say keep that up, bro, because at the end of the day, right, it's not about us. It's about them. You know, it's about the service that we provide them. The thing that we don't talk about enough is, as band directors, yeah, we're mama, daddy, everything else. But we also provide a service. We are customer service people. And that is what gets people in your band, is having an experience that people feel like they belong to, right? Yeah, it's going to be hard. Doing marching band is hard. Sorry. All you parents out there that want to take your kids out of practice because they got to go have dinner with grandma or something like that, all that's doing is hurting, you know, the whole. We got to start thinking about everybody, you know, not just ourselves, but at the end of the day, a well-rounded music education comes with embouchure development and everything else. And if those kids can't do what we need them to do, then we're doing those kids a disservice. So that's it.
Is it fair to say, Josh, that we may have a very, very bad perception of what is actually going on when there are middle school marching bands? Like, we are just misconstruing all of those things?
No, it's not bad, because it's not bad because if you see it, if you see it done wrong the first time, then that's what we got to run with, especially social media. If we seen that happen with our own two eyes and that just was not going pleasant, it's hard to believe. But slowly but surely, you know, it's like when someone starts to do it the correct way, then you can kind of jail yourself. Okay, well, maybe this is not too bad. Then maybe this not too bad. This person is doing it the correct way, you know. So that's how I believe in it, man. I don't.
We official, y'all. We the guy hacked. We official, son.
They trolled in the comments when they
right. No,
I saw that come through. I was like, "Yo, what is that?" All right, my bad, Josh.
Nah, hey, you good.
We getting our numbers up, man. That's a good thing, man.
Hey, Julie, your band.
I know.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, man, I'm sitting here. Somebody needs to let me in, man."
I'm about to let him in. I was trying to, you know, let people finish up their thoughts, man.
Right. I'm just telling you what the boss said.
I'm trying to run the show the right way, bro. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even introduce Hop in the building, man.
Right.
So we got to give it up for Hop, bro. Like, Hop came in here, man. He got his little D-side joint on. You know, I never got one, but it's all good. Let's give it up for Hop, man. He the walk in the building. So let's give it up for Hop.
Appreciate y'all fellas for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
What's up there, young fella?
Yeah, bro. All right, and also let me go ahead and bring into the chat room my band director, Rick's band director, a legend in the game, Dr. O'Neal Sanford.
Who is that young fellow right there, man? Hey, what's up, man?
There you go, man. We got everybody in here, man. Doc, you got it straight, man. I'm glad.
Yeah, man, it only took me an hour to put it together.
Be quiet. I told you that's what he said. It only took me an hour to put it together. Hey, y'all, I want you to know how much I love that man underneath me on the screen, even though he kicked me out of band 672 times.
Yeah.
Look, I call him. That's my mentor in chief right there, man. If I need something, that's who I'm calling. So, Doc, before we get started, I want you to know how much I love you, man, and thank you for all that you've done for me, Julian, and countless other Spartan Legion and every other band, Jackson State, every band you've taught at, man. We all love you, man, and it's good to see you. And I don't know if you can see the comments, but Legion people in the comments now, Doc.
Oh, man. I love it when y'all lie to me like that.
It's all lies.
It's all lies. I mean, hey man, Rick is right. Well, I ain't get kicked out, so but you know, I definitely
I got 100%
agree. You did. You got kicked out every day.
Great time, man. I just heard a little bit of what you guys were talking about when I especially about the middle school bands. I was like, man, that's one of my things that I'm on every time I go out and talk and see that, man, I want to cry. And it's unfortunate that the principals and the administrators put that kind of pressure on on the band directors. One of my former students was in a situation, and he was starting the kids the first semester, and he had all the method books and was really drilling the kids and trying to get the basic fundamentals in place. And the principal came and told him to throw them damn books away and teach the kids to play some music. And then they fired him at the end of the year because he just refused to do it. And that's sad, and that's happening across the country, man. These kids don't even know how to hold the horn as soon as they can get up there, put the instrument together and do the whole note, half note syndrome. Then they off and running. So that I just kind of chimed in on, and I heard you guys talking about that. That's one of my pet peeves that I'm always on, and talking about. So, but anyway, you guys carry on. I'm just gonna listen.
All right. Well, and I know you're gonna chime in and add your 2 cents. We're gonna make room for you to come through. We're probably gonna lay out a couple red carpets every time you talk. So just let us know, man. All right, man. Let's keep
Josh,
going.
I need you to get that. I need you to get that gnat, Josh. If I see that gnat one more time,
that was me Monday.
I'm crying, man.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving, man. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like button, man. We got an all-star panel today, man. So y'all go ahead and click that like button, get these likes up, man. We want the likes to match the number of people who are in here watching this, man. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. And also make sure you check us out on Spotify at Real Talk That Talk. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. All right, here we go. Next topic. Have we lost our way, never to return again? Have we lost our way, never to return again? Rick, you got it first, brother.
Have we lost our way? No. Have we gotten away from the excellence that was associated with what we do as HBCU bands? Yes. Sorry, we have. If I go to one more video, website, whatever, and hear people just yelling at each other from the stands with these instruments, I ain't gonna I want Doc to talk about it, but I'm just gonna say yes, hell yeah. I don't understand when loud is better became the standard. That's why I love, I am not associated with a lot with any HBCU band, but when it comes to bands like Bethune-Cookman, Prairie View, Fam, y'all know what my song of the year was. FAMU's Young and the Restless. That sounds like what HBCU bands used to sound like to me. Dynamics being used all across the place, actually coming in together. I remember, Julian, you know this. We sitting in them rooms, man, getting ready for those Battle of the Bands. Doc sitting outside in the chair. Doc didn't want to be in front of the band. He wanted to get far away from it so he could hear the whole landscape of what the band sounds like. What band directors are doing that? What band directors are coming in like, Doc, you got to milk everything out of the note. It's got to be right. Right? Like Doc was not having that. And I don't know if that is there anymore. So for me, it gets very frustrating to watch some of this stuff. It gets repetitive and boring. It's very boring because everybody sounds the same. Well, not everybody, but a lot of groups sound the same. So is it lost to never return? No, because there's bright spots. Hot what y'all are doing, that show really, like I said at the top, that show really gives people a glimpse into PV. It's easy to sit and throw stones from afar, right? But to actually see it up close and see what the expectation is, I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. I think that some of these other groups like Tennessee State, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, that actually take the time to teach fundamentals, and I'm sure everybody does, but actually try to play with a characteristic sound, I think is important for the community. I just don't think the community cares sometimes. I think that if it's not those loud rap songs hitting them rap daddies in the fifth every single week, then at the end of the day, people just don't care. And I think it's sad and tragic, man. So do I think it's broken? Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
The audience and the people have to be taught.
Yeah.
They have to be taught to appreciate, what it's all about. I remember that from being back at Mississippi Valley State College.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Mississippi Valley State College was one of the first drum and bugle corps style bands in the country, and it was all about music, man. It was about music, and I was arranging for the band. I learned a lot. I came out of Southern and thought I had it together, and I ran into a gentleman by the name of Russell Boone at Mississippi Valley State College, and he actually was the first African American drum major for the United States Navy band. And but I don't know, I'm going off here. But even in that band, just thinking about it, had people like Clark Terry and was playing trumpet, in that band, and several other, artists. But it was all about music, and I remember my alma mater, Southern, coming up to Memphis to play us at a bowl game, and of course, Dr. Gregg was very flamboyant and he did his thing, and he got the style. The style that's at Southern now is what he set in place and set in motion. And he came over to me and he said, "I'm sorry, homeboy, but I'm gonna have to kick your ass today." That kind of thing, And so they went on the field first, man, and they did their thing. I mean, and band was good, played well, executed well. If the Southern band from back during that particular era, executed well in the whole bit. And then we had to go on the field with the drum and bugle corps style for a predominantly black audience. And we went on the field and we played and performed. And at the end of the performance, nobody was jumping up and down and screaming. I had a drunk that was in the stands on the lower level, and he reached out his hand to shake Mr. Boone's hand because he was the director of band at the time. He said, "Now that's a real band with music, that's playing music." Now I remember that comment, and that stayed with me throughout, my profession. Now, have we lost our way? In order to go somewhere, you have to know where you're coming from. You have to be from somewhere to know. So if you're not taught what it's supposed to be, then it's there. The biggest problem is that we as HBCU colleges and universities are not preparing our directors to be able to compete in the global job market. In other words, you're going to have some kind of knowledge.
I agree.
There are only so many Southerns and FAMUs and HBCU bands where our kids going to go. They're at the city schools. I remember we used to be 48 high schools in the city of Detroit. Now you'd be lucky to find 10 high school band programs, in the inner cities. So, the band programs are cutting back where, majority of our, young blacks are. And so, but we've got to prepare our students as college directors. We have to prepare our students to be able to go out and compete in that global market. Global market. So we're going to have to try to teach them there. And if they're not taught there, where are they going to learn it? It's nowhere. It's nowhere for them to go. So that's another thing that I'm on, and we talk about it quite a bit at our HBCU National Band Directors Consortium that we've been had it for 17 years. Of course, the pandemic shut everything down for the last 2 years, and we're going to crank up again this coming March 22nd through the 26th down in Atlanta. And when we get our directors and our young music educators, you know, in a room, you know, I'm pounding them about, you know, being prepared, about preparing your what? Your graduates to do what? To be able to compete in the global job market. If we don't, then we're gonna go out of business. Now that's, you know, like I said, now I'm gonna shut up. The problem is that our many of the directors that are out there came from programs where they don't know what a good sound is and a quality sound is. And I have been to too many rehearsals and where the band directors are actually teaching the bands. They practice on how to play loud. Now I had never had a rehearsal where you practice how to play loud. You know, you practice to the intensity level of the music without pushing the students beyond what's capable, you know, of the instrument that they're playing at the time. You know, my whole thing is to walk in a room and see and look at a score and see them right on an F horn, or you know, E above the staff, or A concert above the staff. You know, I mean, how many players can actually get up there and do something with that? You know, and actually make it happen. So it's I don't know the answer to the questions. Have we lost our way? Well, like I said, you know, in order to go somewhere, you have to know where you come from. You have to have some, you know, some kind of foundation or something to tell you that this is where I want to go and this is where I want to be. You know, and this is where I need to be. So if you don't know, you're ignorant, then what? You can't teach. So I'm going to shut up for a minute and let somebody else talk.
All right, Doc. Hey, man, that's all knowledge there. So we taking it all in. We getting fed right now. So you're giving us a whole bunch of a game right now. So we appreciate it regardless. All right, Quan, have we lost our way, never to return again?
Bro, how you gonna have me go after Doc, bro?
You got some big shoes to fill, brother.
Well, out of respect for him, I have to concede to him, and I think that's maybe some of our issue. We do have to, you know, listen to the elders or the, you know, in our terms, the OGs for what has transpired before. I do think when you speak about have we lost our way, first we have to determine what was the way prior to, like what was that thing. I do believe that, like we've stated on the show, prior to the Robert Champion incident, more bands had identities, in my opinion. So is that the way are we going to return? And so that's my question overall. What does the previous way look like? That's number one. And then number two, the reality of it is evolution has to happen for anything. Music is not the same. So how can we bring, and I think the movie Drumline honestly had the best metaphor or examples of how, you know, Dr. Lee, his mindset was earth, wind, and fire, so forth and so on. And then, you know, Devin and the percussionists, they were like, well, new school with old school. That's fine. But then how do you have that middle ground and then make that proper sound like you're supposed to? Because even Rick stated on the phone, I'm not on the phone, on the podcast, that some of the rap songs that he wrote, he never heard. So he was intentional in listening to his students, but yet and still we're going to sound like this. You know what I'm saying? One of the directors that I shadow in the city of Houston is Eric Jimenez. And he teaches his kid, hey, I need you to play at this volume with control, you know, with this type of articulation. Like, he's intentional with his words so that he can produce the sound that is in his ear, that what he's looking for. So at the end of the day, if we can do that, I mean, I think we're going to return back to the way of proper musicianship throughout. But we are faced with a lot of infrastructure issues, like we stated with the last comment. So we have to address all of those things as well, in order that we produce and go back to quote unquote the way prior to. Because back in the day, they just loved music. It was a discipline. It was something to look forward to. My grandfather, real talk, he listened to Tchaikovsky, even though he served in World War II. Like he understood, he could have a conversation. Now, mind you, my grandfather was born in 1921 and graduated in Indiana. I mean, not Indiana, India. But yet and still, he understood the arts. So we have to find the balance in it all.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Huh. Yeah. Have we lost our way, never to return again?
Oh man, I'm going to piggyback off of what many of you have already said, and I think you guys have all said some great things. Are we lost, or have we lost our way to never return? I don't think so. I think it's more so we major in a lot of minor things now. We used to care about tone quality, timbre, attacks, releases, phrasing. Those are things that we held near and dear to our heart as musicians. And, some folks nowadays think that that's just the old way of thinking. I don't agree, but that's what they are pushing in their programs, and if that makes you happy, then so be it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm not going to say that, it's not working for you. I think that we can definitely get back to our former glory in terms of the craft. But we just have to be real with ourselves, and we have to stop appeasing. I don't want to say folks that don't matter, but folks that don't matter. It takes a lot to create the sound that we desire, and I think a lot of times, a lot of programs take shortcuts just for the clout on social media, or just to be, mentioned amongst the names of others, rather than doing what it is that you do, sounding the way that you want to sound, and making sure that you have respect for the craft. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, when we do have these conversations and you say things like this, folks think you're anti-volume or anti-culture, what have you. No, that's not the case at all. It's just we hold certain things near and dear to our heart. Timbre, tone, quality, balance, blend. Those are the things that, we, and I can speak for Prairie View, that we hold near and dear to our heart. Doesn't mean we anti-volume or anti-turning up or none of that. It's just we're majoring in different things. And it's starting to make the craft become very one-dimensional. Let's get back to having identity, such as Quan said, and let's get back to what it is. But Hop, I wanna jump in, bro, because I love your answer, but it's got to be tough. And I speak for a lot of bands that you were just with what you were just saying all the time on this show. I catch a lot of criticism, but I'm gonna go back to it, and I don't care. Last year, PV put out a video with y'all in the stadium playing through like 4 or 5 songs. All right. Sound amazing. The band was great. People got online and commenced to say, oh, PV was in the studio or this or that. They couldn't give you the credit for just sounding good. They had to justify the reason why you sound good to keep their other bands in their mind better than you. Other bands started putting out videos that weren't great, some of whom were reading sheet music in the video. There wasn't one comment, not one, other than how great the arrangement was. And the great arrangement was fine, right? I think my biggest issue with it is we are at a point. The reason why I say that it feels like we have been lost is because we're at a point now where a band can be excellent and people will justify why they're not excellent to keep the band that they love ahead of that band. We can't even show appreciation to bands or schools we didn't go to because it's like the internet thing. We have to let everybody know I'm loyal to Say It University. And that's happened with it ain't just y'all, it's other schools too, right? Like some of these smaller bands. Some of these smaller bands like Kentucky State got a lot of credit in the community this year. Mm-hmm. Which doesn't normally happen. So I think my frustration, and Doc, you can jump in, you and Hop, man, is that the standard, right? Like this is a craft, y'all. Like people don't look at music anymore or the band community. No, let me take that back. Band heads don't look at this as an art form and a craft and a profession, right? Like that's the part that's missing. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's meant to rouse the audience. It's entertainment. But at the end of the day, music is music. I say it all the time on this show. A concert effing tune is a concert effing tune, no matter what the hell band you are in this whole world. If I go to India, Quan, to go with Quan's granddaddy, and over in India when he was in high school, then a concert elf over there is the same concert elf over here. You know, you got microtones. We can get all technical and stuff later.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, we can't even be real with one another and appreciate other bands if they're not that band that we quote unquote call the best. And I think that's my biggest frustration. I know, you know, it's go ahead, man. I'll get out the
Well,
way. Go ahead.
before anybody says anything or comments on what you said, one of the things that I was just thinking about as you were talking was we got to define who's the biggest voice, right? Because you said the band head community, and Mario has said this on the show before. The band head community used to be us. We're not the band head community anymore.
All right.
The band head community is that dude who works at Burger King that played fourth trombone in the grits,
Or didn't
probably,
march.
or
Or
didn't
didn't
march,
march in a
right?
band at all.
And but they're able to dictate what's good and what's not. You know what I'm saying? So we have to also look at it from that perspective as well. Who is the one who's dictating, you know, what's good, what's not, you know, what is a quality sound versus, you know, what is not. So yeah.
Yeah, just to chime in on that. Back in the day, uh, each band could be identified by their sound, what they sound like. I mean, that's something that we worked on at Paul Adams and I worked on, and Dr. Zach, all of us worked on. When you hear the Norfolk State Band, we want people to know that this is Norfolk State. You can turn your back. This is Norfolk State. That was our attitude, and that's what we worked, to do. But back in the day, FAMU was it. Now remember this, guys. Most of those guys, Dr. Foster and Strong at Arkansas Pine Bluff and Carson at North Carolina, with North Carolina A&T, those guys, most of them went to the Army. When they came back, they had to go get their master's degrees. Well, our HBCUs programs were not giving master's degrees back in the day. Nobody was in the HBCU program. So when they came back, they had that GI fellowships. Where they go to school. They went to school up north. They went up to Michigan State and Northwestern and all those uniforms, all of those places. Once they got there, they were exposed to a whole nother world and a style. And each one of those guys, Thomas Lowell at Alabama A&M, they adopted styles and brought them back to their schools. And each one of the bands had a unique style. When you heard Southern was more a copy of what Michigan sound like. Dr. Foster was kind of like that. He went off on his own and did his thing, but still with that concert sound. I was blown away the first time I heard them as a freshman. And then you look at Jackson State. Jackson State was a band that just swing. Man, they played. That band was a trumpet player and a great trumpet player and big band. And when that band hit the field, man, they'd be popping. And I remember hearing that. And then you go to Tennessee State, Greer, he went up north somewhere and got his degree. Came back, his thing was more concert oriented, kind of aristocratic, if you will, and probably where the name came from. But they was standing still and play Toccata and Fugue, man, and blow, the drunk's mind in the stand because of what the timbre and and the sound of the band. And so each one of those bands had their own style. But I can tell you, now what I hear is 80% of the bands, with including there are a couple of small bands that are really good. You can't overlook a band like Alabama A&M. They're doing some real teaching over at Alabama A&M. They don't have a big band, but that band plays with good quality. And Rick mentioned, Prairie View, and I'm a little biased when it comes to that Prairie View, and then you got FAMU. They are unique, but there are not a lot of bands. Most of them you can do what? Sound the same way, and that is what? Loud. With no quality. And we've been fair now. the marching band in HBCU schools, are very important, and I don't think we need to change that function. I mean, it's a different. People gonna go get hot dogs on you if you, if you don't play the kind of music that we play. Nothing wrong with it, but you still have to do it with good quality and good tone quality and taste and phrasing and balance and arrangements. Not 5 octaves gone and a bass line and then everybody else holding whole notes and half notes, the whole note half note syndrome, and then blastissimo. That's the bottom line. So we've got it. What you guys are doing here now, it's great. You got to talk about it. So you got to do something about it when you get in a position to do something about it, because you're gonna get the pressure, from your fans, which they don't know. You have to train them. The fans down at FAM, when FAM stood still and played a ballad, man, Tennessee stood still and played a ballad. They appreciated it because what? They trained the audience. They train the audience to learn and appreciate. They may not know, why the band is sounding like. Some of them didn't even know what a double French horn was back in the day. and FAM would have that bell up on them horns in a certain time, and man, and then rock the boat, with sound and all the different colors and timbres of instruments. You could hear all of that. So, but you can't teach it if you haven't been exposed to it. How are you going to teach it? Do you go back and listen to, what's that? It's a whole different instrumentation, a whole different, time. But the good basic fundamentals of music will get it done for you. Dynamics, musical style and interpretation, phrasing, all of those things that you were taught, that we were taught in school, they work. But you have to teach it. And I'm out. Yeah.
Mic drop. All right. I guess ain't nobody following that one. All right. Well, hey, let's keep it going then, man. We're actually coming up on our last topic, so let's do it the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Please make sure as soon as you come in, go ahead and smash that like button, man. We got an all-star cast, man. We got B Hopper here, and we got Dr. Sanford, man. So go ahead and smash that like button. Get these likes up, man. We want these likes to match the number of views that we have. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. If you miss anything at the beginning of the show, if you miss any of the conversation at the beginning of the show, you can go over to Spotify and find us at Real Talk That Talk. Once again, that's Spotify at Real Talk That Talk. This episode will be uploaded by tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, Robin Martin told us to tell you hi.
Oh, my God. Tell Robin I still love her. She only lives 50 miles away and won't come and have red beans and rice with me.
Robin, get your tail down the Baton Rouge.
On Monday.
Yeah, she's there. That was one of my sweethearts there.
All right. Also, once again, this is the last topic, so I'm going to be putting the link in the chat so that you can call in with us and have the conversation with us after we give out this topic.
Come
all right,
say hi to Doc. Come say hi to Hop. Doc and Hop. Come say hi.
Doc Hop. All right. Here we go. Let's go with the last topic. Have we disregarded the greats? Have we disregarded the greats? Hop.
Have we disregarded who is we?
The culture, the new age, we the blacks. There we go. The new age culture.
I don't think that it's intentional, but I believe that, like I said, with us, and I say us because we are of the culture, with the vast majority, like I said, majoring in minor things, is an absolute disregard to all the things that they've instilled in many of us. We just throw it by the wayside for the sake of getting those quick claps. We've lost the self-discipline of actually getting in there and doing the work. you know, working on that tempo, working on that phrase, and working on that balance. You know, a lot of people, you know, they do the loud thing because, I mean, let's just be real about it. It's pretty easy to do, you know, but it's hard, you know what I'm saying, to play them 4-bar phrases. It's hard, you know what I mean, to make sure that you're playing across the bar. It's hard to make sure that you're listening for the melody at all times. You know, it's hard to make sure that your horn sounds like its intended purpose, you know, but that's where the work comes in. And by taking those shortcuts, I think, you know, inadvertently, the disrespect is there, you know what I mean? And we have to get back to that, you know what I mean? We have to get back to that. That's where the identity is, and that's where the musicianship is. And I'm gonna stop talking before I say stuff.
You good?
Well, I'm old enough to say any damn thing I want to say.
To go for it.
Well, go ahead then, Doc.
I really don't, care what anybody think, but no, I'm gonna just listen to the other guys, and then I'll make some comments, and then I've got to go and eat. Yeah.
Food is definitely important. Quan, have we disregarded the greats?
In my opinion, yes. I'll just get straight to it. Yes. And I feel that we disregard the greats now because, kind of like what Rick was saying earlier, we disregard specific greats because we feel like if we applaud another great, then we're being disloyal to another great. In my opinion, like Dr. Sanford said, like, we don't know really the history. I'm pretty sure, like, honestly, what I see now, marching band in the HBCU world, we've turned low-key into gang culture, like, to a degree. We turn it to gang culture. Instead of, Prairie View or Southern, we turned it into Christian Blue, real talk. When honestly, it's just, you can appreciate musicianship across the bar. I'm pretty sure, real talk, Dr. Greggs and Prof Edwards were cool. They both were frat brothers. Like, they weren't beefing. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Dr. William P. Foster was, friends with the band director at Alabama State. Because, first of all, we didn't receive the right to vote till, I believe, with 1963. So as Black individuals and Black people, we had to stick together. And so for those, like Doctor said, most of those universities, that handful, select few of universities to receive your master's degree and then doctoral degree, some of them possibly went to the same university. They had to look out for one another. So they were friends, I'm pretty sure, as musicians, bouncing ideas off of each other and whatnot. But when they received their jobs at their respective university, they were rooting for one another. They weren't beefing. So if they could do that, well, why can't we do that now? And if that is happening, why isn't that publicized? Because it's like it's easier for mess to be publicized than, hey, I like this band director over here for what they're doing. Like what's wrong with that? And again, like I say in the beginning of my comment, we've turned this into gang culture when it's not like that, bro. It's not. And we should respect each other, for what it is, even though it may be different. We still should respect it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think it's the directors, man. I think it's the fans. When we go down to Baton Rouge, I dap kid up, hey man, you're doing a great job, yada yada yada. Same thing. When we went down there to Jackson, made sure I found Little, hey man, you're doing a great job. The same thing, when they come to PV. So I don't think the directors or all the directors are I think it's the fans. I think that's what's really pinning, the programs against each other in more than a competitive way. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, me saying, hey man, Southern sounded good on that song is not me saying so-and-so sounded bad. That's me bigging up, somebody sounding good and then giving them credit where it's due. And we can get back to that, man. It's going to take, like Doc Sanford said, it's going to take some training. You know what I mean? Just like we got to train our artists, we need to train these fans too.
Rick, have we disregarded the greats?
Well, don't the fans feed off of the band?
That is indeed true. That is indeed true.
Yeah. They feed off the band. The band directors are going to have to figure out how to do a better job of showing the respect. like somebody said earlier, man, I'm trying to be soft as I can be. With this, somebody said earlier that Dr. Greggs and Graves at Tennessee State were very competitive, and but they were friends. The bands were very competitive. They were respectful to each other, we don't see that. And of course, I'm not around that much. I went away from HBCU schools for 20 years. And that's a whole nother world, out there. And it was good for me because I saw the respect. I know the difference, and they respected each other up there. And I'm not sure that that's the case. That's the case here. It's just that we're trying to find out we're trying to find our way. We're trying to find our way, hopefully. And if you guys keep talking at this, maybe it'll sink in. And this is a good forum, and definitely I will glad I tuned in, finally got in, and I will be checking back in, down the road, in the future, and just offering my comments. But I'm very proud of what you're doing and what this forum is all about. It's necessary.
No, I appreciate you, Doc. I'm gonna be honest with you. You mean you if it wasn't you, like you would say, I recruited you. So if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have this fire under me. So I appreciate you. This wouldn't be possible without you. So, thank you.
Yeah, you gotta get some of the other guys on. I don't know if you've had Paul Adams on. It's not a whole lot of us from that generation left around. And for some reason or other, God's let me hang around. I'm still not totally comfortable with being, retired, because I may say I'm looking on the wall now at something I traced out the other night. I'm gonna pass on to somebody, and I like to get in it. I come out to Prairie View once or twice a year, and I get a chance to get the needle in the arm, and get fired up and pumped up when I come out there. And I love doing that. And I miss band, because I did it for 50 years and I miss it a lot. But I've been keeping it alive and going forward because the Con Selma company, I get a chance to go out and do professional development workshops. Some not fun to do, because when you walk in the band room and see the band room, you know what the band is gonna sound like before you play any notes. So you guys keep on keeping on with this forum, and I strongly recommend that you invite Paul Adams to come. It's not, like I said, it's not that many. Paul Adams and you may be able to get Dr. Greg on. I mean, not Dr. Greg, Ed Graves, to come and join in on the set. That would be great. Hal Horton, Virginia State, everybody know that name, or you should know that name. Hal Horton is still around, and there's still a few more guys around so you can kind of reach back in your history. But we're doing that now, trying to put the history together of all the band programs with our organization, and hopefully this year we should be on point with knowing who was the first band director at Southern. And it wasn't Dr. Greg, and it wasn't even T. Leroy Davis. It was someone else. But the students at Southern don't even know that, because the band directors may not know, and it's not their fault. It's just that everybody thinks that the Southern band started from Dr. Greg. It didn't start from Dr. Greg. There were two more directors, three more, actually, before Dr. Greg.
Was he your band director, Doc?
Who? No. T. Leroy Davis and Ludwig Freeman.
Yeah.
What they're my band director. But I knew him well, and we had mutual respect for each other, and he was a gentleman.
Wow. Doc, I'm sure some of your people gonna want to come see you before you tip up out of here. So
yeah, let's do this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the. Let me go. No, I was gonna do that anyway. But because I see somebody down who's more than likely in here to say hi to Doc, and ain't here to say hi to none of us. So let's welcome Sebring to the show.
Hey,
Hey there, Doc. What's going on?
hey, what's up, guy?
Seagram.
What's going on, Rick? How you doing, man?
What's up, bro?
Oh man, I'm great. I'm great, man.
That's good. Hello to everyone else. Julian's right. I came here to see my band director.
Yeah, I already knew. I knew it before, but when I saw you pop up, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of my guys there.
Yeah. I mean, down here. I ain't left yet.
But I think Sebring coming in is perfect, right, Doc? Because like for us, like, you know, we ain't gonna get all into detail, but like, you know, decisions, like that's my man. Me and Sebring still talk, you know, we call each other, Sebring, I got some fire for you, bro. You need to check it out. Or so, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like all those relationships that we built in the band, right? Like all these great relationships that come from this little thing, going out there, putting shapes on the field and playing music to them. But it means so much more. You know, the relationship that Julian's my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding. You know,
Oh man, yeah.
Right. So you know, Doc, I think what you said is even more important, right? Like as students, even we don't even know, Doc, like why you guys made the decisions that you made. But just trusting, you know, that you're doing what's in the best interest of a band program, and you're doing what's in the best interest of the person, the human being that's going to go on. Like me and Sebring, we're doing what you did. You know what I'm saying? And Julian, all of us on this call, we're doing what you did.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
You know,
that's exactly kind of what I wanted to say too, Rick. That answers the question, in my opinion, of have we lost our way? The answer is yes, because we have forgotten what's really important. You just said it. They were doing what's in the best interest for programs. We're doing what's in the best interest for the internet. And that's a huge difference. They were about the student. We have lost our way because we've forgotten that we're here for the students. Right. We're not here for ESPN rating. We're not here for people who are not qualified to judge us to win their opinion. I can't call Jay-Z and have a conversation about hip-hop. He don't want to hear nothing I got to say about hip-hop, but we're listening to people on the internet who are not qualified or certified to tell us anything about band. When I was in band, my band director right there told me I couldn't even get on the fifth quarter. I bet not see you commenting on putting you out the band.
Yeah.
Leave it on the gridiron. That's
or just like, or the life lessons, right? See, like Doc, I mean, with you and Sebring here, but me and Sebring had this conversation, so I don't mind bringing it up. Doc, I don't know why you ain't make me session leader 02. I to this day, I mean, I do know why, but
this is gonna be a long night, bro.
It's not. It's gonna be short because I'm gonna be very short with it. But the one thing I learned about it was two things. Well, it was actually two things. I had to learn how to be humble, which was something I wasn't.
You got it.
A college student.
You got it.
And supporter. I never once did anything to make Sebring, you know, feel like he was not the section leader of the section and so forth. And it turned out to me to be the best trumpet section that's ever been in black college football. You know, like people still, or marching band, like people still talk about those 02, 03, you know, trumpet sections and stuff. And it was just family, Doc. That's sectionals was family. It won't no hazing, none of that stupid shit that we hear from some of these schools. Won't none of that. Hazing in our band was, hey, play that articulation right. That's hazing. Hold them wings.
Got haze with music.
Right. So
got haze with music. Yeah, I definitely remember that, and most people who play in band, regardless of what level of band or what kind of band it is, you know, most of that friendships are going to be built over a 4-year period. That becomes your family. You know, it's I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, it becomes a family, and it takes, that's what it is, band unity. And the sections, you know, are naturally going to be tight. The one thing, and I'm going, I keep saying I'm going back, is that, you know, I definitely want to, you know, be, you know, come in when we start talking about our programs having total instrumental music programs. That's what we need.
Yeah.
And that's what the teaching is being.
I agree.
That's exactly what we need. But the band directors need to know, if they've never had, you know, symphonic band in college or played in a chamber ensemble, and I I'm gonna go back to Norfolk State. When I got the dream team together, I went to Miss Sanders and said, Miss Sanders, what do you need, for your studio? And we got everything from the oboe down to a bass saxophone. And then we went to the trumpets. Dr. Zach, what do you need? We got everything from the piccolo trumpets all the way down. Every instrument that he needed. Same thing with the trombones, all the way down. Every family of instruments, whatever we needed to be able to expose our students and do what? Prepare our students for the job in the global market. And that's the most important thing. You got to do it. You got to expose them. If they're not exposed. And too many of our schools don't have a total instrumental music program, chamber ensembles. We had chamber ensemble, saxophone ensemble, trumpet choir, trombone, lower brass. I mean, we had all of that stuff going on at Norfolk State. Yeah. Now, I didn't have that at Southern University. I had never seen a counterbass clarinet. E-flat counterbass clarinet when I graduated from Southern, and the first time I heard or saw one was when I went to Michigan. That's sad, but I understand why. They did not have the money and the funds to do it, and the administration wasn't investing the money in it. Now, guys have the money to do it, and and I work with Con Selma in the instrument, sell a few instruments here and there. And guys are ordering 24 sousaphones and don't have what? E-flat counterbass clarinet.
Or C-tubas, still got college students playing.
That's when you teach your students. You have to teach the students in chamber ensembles and the small ensemble. That's where they have to be taught. Doing marching band, you're trying to push it together. You can only do what? And we have to change shows every week. So ain't but so much teaching you can do, when you have to do that. And so what? Why not have symphonic and concert band doing marching band season? They started to do that. Prairie View is doing it. Jackson State is doing it. That was something that was phased in when I went there. Those years, and of course, Dow Taylor knew everything that needed to be known about that, and it wasn't him. Lower Hollinger, that's his thing. Does a great job with it, but you got to expose the kids to the chamber ensembles, and you got to have a program with full complement. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels and you're not preparing your majors to go out there and be successful, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah, one of the highlights of my career was when Doc, Mr. Adams, and Julian, and Hop and I. It was Hop's first performance with Prairie View. Matter of fact, was at the consortium when we bought all our ensembles there, and to have my band director sitting in the audience, looking at me up there doing that, and then they come give me a big hug after and say, "I'm proud." Man, I cried like a baby. Julian and me and Julian up there hugging and crying. Like, that was one of the highlights of my career, man. Like, I can honestly say that all the things I've done, I've won championships, all this stuff. Highlights of my career was Doc sitting up there and saying he was proud of me and that my band sound great, man.
Well, so, I was sitting in the audience crying also. Okay, guys, it's been great. Tell all of my people I said hello, Stephen, up there.
I got you, Doc.
Yeah, and I'm going to check out now. And hey, keep me posted, guys. When you do this thing, every 2 weeks or something.
Every week,
every Wednesday, every Wednesday. Doc.
Okay, I'll just try to pull it in and get it on my schedule and come back in. Let me know what the topic's all about, so I don't get in trouble.
All right, I'll give them to you real early. I ain't gonna give it to them real early.
Okay, all right, guys.
All right, Doc.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night, Doc.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Yeah.
Let me make sure I do this the right way. As we see Doc out, let me go ahead and give him his round of
applause. At the bottom of the screen, Doc, is that red X that says "Leave Studio."
I see it.
All right, there you go. Sebring, we don't want you no more. you weren't here for us anyway. You didn't come to see us, Otis. All right.
Steve, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I can't complain.
Hey,
we
Hop,
gotta hold
we
up.
proud of you,
Before
dog.
we go. Hold up. Whoa. I gotta keep the show going. Because I got Hop. I'm ready to get to him in a second, but we got another guest. So we got to bring the other guest in. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. So see, man, you know I love you, brother. You good? You ain't got nothing else?
No, I'm just saying keep the kids first, man, not the internet. Grow student.
Absolutely.
And
Love you,
don't
bro.
worry about what the internet is saying. All right, I'm out of here.
All right, bro. All right, you know how it is. We gotta bring him in, the man, the myth, the legend. Justin. What's going on, brother?
Well, I was wondering where the hell he was at.
Hey, real talk. Justin was in there first, but I knew Doc was trying to get off, and I knew Sebring was trying to get in to holler at Doc. I knew Sebring didn't want no parts of us,
Right.
so I wanted to get Sebring in there first. So Justin was actually first. So you know he's been first for the last couple of weeks. So there you go, Justin.
And he got the five
Right?
new on.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I like the colors. Is that black and gold? Is that
No,
black
that's a
and
mess.
gold?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think Hop would agree with me. That's a mess. But anyway, Hop, I'm proud of you, dog. That show is fire, bro.
What
Man,
show?
thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
The March. You watched March, Justin?
Oh no, I ain't get a chance to watch it. As a matter of fact, I just got home.
I'm gonna take you back out then if you ain't watched it yet. Man.
Download the CW app.
I got it already.
Get it together, man.
So hey, what I want to do, just to make sure I do it the right way, Hop, I actually want to give you some time to actually talk about it.
Okay.
So Justin, I know you got a whole bunch for us. Try to keep it under about three minutes so that we can get to Hop, because we going a little bit long. So I want to get y'all the boys out of here.
Now, I'm gonna be fast, man. I just wanted to talk about the middle school marching band part. You know what I'm saying? I do think that's very vital. You know what I'm saying? Even I'm from a place, my middle school band had like 150 people in it. You know what I'm saying? So where we from, that's a part of the culture. So I think it's important that we keep middle school band alive, even though I know a lot of cities are taking it away, like, you know what I'm saying, because they don't support music, especially what a lot of guys in Texas were telling me this week. And I got so many different perspectives on, like, I got a newfound respect for band in Texas, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody have a different story, but the same problem. Administrations and just not caring as much, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy that that happens, because I'm to the point of, if a kid want to pick up a horn, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if he's seen a clip on YouTube. I don't care if he's just trying to crank that mud. You know what I'm saying? Let him do that, or like, you know, just introduce him to something in a band director's job to mold him and be a better musician and teach him the way that it should go. Last thing, I ain't gonna be all day. I'm glad Doc kind of agreed to what I was saying, because I was like, I think that it should be implemented at band camps who the legendary band directors are. The same way you got to know your alma mater, the fight song, everything. I think that college bands should, like, you know, have some type of conference where they get this information, at least make them learn your school's history, or like, you know, at least your conference school history or something. But that's a thing. I think the legends
that's like knowing your founders, right? You know, for whatever your organization is, man. You can't cross in the, I don't know one organization, Boy Scouts of America. You can't become a Boy Scout if you don't know who started the Boy Scouts, right? So I think you're absolutely right, man. I think Doc is right. Go ahead, Justin. I don't want to hold you up.
Yeah, that's all I had. Definitely wanted to say, man. And good job this weekend, Quan. Y'all both did a good job in Texas this weekend, man.
Hey, nice meeting you, bro. Real talk.
And I do want to say this, Justin. You know, I knew you were down here in Dallas, man, and you were kind of all over the place, man. So I do want to say this, man. I do respect what you do. You know, you are getting out there inside of the culture, and you're really getting into the groundwork and getting on the ground floor and talking to these band directors and getting inside these band rooms. So I want to, you know, personally say that I do respect what you do as far as continuing to highlight the culture in the way that you do it. And then the other thing is, I'm glad that you did come to Texas, because Texas is different as it relates to band. You know, it's really interesting to talk to a lot of people who are from a lot of different areas, because and I don't know if you were able to talk to Will and all of them and just really like get the real true rundown of what happens in Texas, but there is a high expectation for us to do a lot of things here that just probably don't happen in a lot of other cities and other states. And so we have to compete with all of those things and still be able to, do the things that we do for the culture and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, admin is definitely a really big thing, but I'm really glad that you were able to chop it up with him, man. And so, like I said, I do respect what you do, man. And that's why, you are definitely one of the biggest friends here at Talk That Talk, brother, because you definitely are really on the ground for doing it, brother. So, hats off to you, man.
Appreciate it, yeah, man. It was a little heartbreaking to hear some of the stuff that, like, I talked to at least 8 band directors from the Houston and Dallas, pretty much. All of them had the same story or same thing they're fighting against. But I also think that, like, it's time, this me also looking in, that we unite and speak up for what we can do, because it's no reason why. I just looking at Dallas, I'm like, dang, like I went to the sock parade, because that's some history, and I seen them having a batter. I'm like, y'all don't get this often, and they was like, no. I'm like, what? Like, I was in shock. So I'm like, what I'm recording right now may not happen no more this year, and they were like, no, and I was like, geez, we are like behind, and we need to do something about it. It's just kids having fun, but we'll talk about it next. I know you got to go. Hot. What up, Hot, man? One of my good guys, man. I'm going, y'all. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Julian. Hey, Julian. Well, Justin, by a piece, bro. I gotta say something though. Before Hop go, and before Hop go, we also have another first. We had our first Sigma.
Here you go. Oh. Here you go. Here you go.
We always got this alpha mess on the show.
That's the best one on here.
We got that fresh smash time nail you on with the nice gold on it.
I need one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Talk That Talk has their first iota on the show. We never thought it would happen.
There we go.
Hey, I knew it was going to come up that question. That was speaking like a unicorn, man.
Hey, you are a unicorn. I mean, your interest meeting have 4 people in it.
Hey, it is what it is.
All right, man. Brother. Got a dig.
Hey.
So let me do this the right way, man. I know that I talked about it earlier, man, and actually I want to allow Hop to go ahead and really talk about it and go deep into it. So we talked about this earlier, and I'm gonna throw it back up on the screen. We had March that premiered on Monday, and Prof Hop is here to really give you some of the rundown and give you some more details about it. So Prof Hop, you got the floor, brother.
Man, I don't have a whole lot to say, man. Just if you can tune in. I think it's a great show. It shows the inner workings of what we do here at Prairie View A&M University for the March Storm, and it gives them in-depth insight as to what it is we really do. And I think sometimes we forget that these students are just that, students, man, and they have different things that go on in their lives, and they're juggling academics and their own personal stuff, all while trying to represent the university in the best way they can, and that's through the college music programs, man. So I think you guys will really like it. Just check it out. It comes on every Monday, 8-7 Central. So just check it out, man. It's a good watch.
Hey, Hop, I gotta say something.
What's that?
Julian had me crying because me and him was thinking.
Let me do it. Let me do it.
Yeah, Julian, go ahead, bro.
So if anybody has watched the show out there, right? Me and my wife were sitting down watching the show last night because we couldn't catch it. We couldn't catch it on the day of, but we caught it on the app.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, outside of Dr. Sanford, Dr. Zachary was, Mr. Zachary at the time, but he was, my trumpet instructor and former assistant band director. And then we worked together. Matter of fact, all 3 of us, man, it's good to have all 3 of us back. But all 3 of us were at Prairie View and with the Marching Storm. And I will tell you, one of the things that I truly appreciated about the show is, without a shadow of a doubt, Doc Zachary is going to be Zachary. And I just thought that it was really interesting when that girl walked into that office and was like, so can I get back in the band? He was like, I'm going to tell you no. He hit it with the straight Smiths.
Straight Smiths. No, I was sitting there like,
hey. She came in there sweet and all nice. It was like, no, this time I'm going to say no.
Well, I can't wait to the next episode when Cardavian come in with them cookies. I cannot wait to see what happens.
Man,
Watch, man.
I could not look. Me and my wife could not stop laughing for at least 5 minutes because it was just true to form who Doc is. He is consistent across the board. He don't care about no cameras. Ain't trying to. He was like, look, the answer's no. Like so. But I mean, if you've ever been a student, if you've ever worked with him, you already know how he's going to be. You know how he is. And at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to have to respect him for who he is. And you know, I always have, you know, he's straight, no chaser, no filter. And that's really how, I mean, I could go on about how, you know, I was introduced to him, but that's really how we connected when I was younger, because he gave it to me raw. So yeah, you got to check out the show, guys. It's a really good show. I really do appreciate it. Not even, and I said this earlier, and I want to make sure I say it again for all of those who are just now tuning in. It's not even for the aspect of just Prairie View. It is for the aspect of the culture actually being showcased in a light as grand as the CW. And so I really earnestly hope that everyone tunes in, whether you're a fan of Prairie View or not. Tune in for the fact of the fact that we have the culture being represented in a way that we don't always get the opportunity to see. I think it's only been 2 other shows. It was the Bethune show that was on Netflix, and then I think it was Alabama State had a show.
There was
so we, you know, if we support this show and we really back the show, it'll show people how important our community is and how much we really need to have it on the show. And I think that it will also garnish a whole new fan of students, because right now we don't have these kind of things on national networks and on national platforms that are showcasing band. And so a lot of our students are like, well, I go play football and basketball. Those are on national networks, on national platforms. So support the show, man. Support it, regardless if you are a Prairie View fan or not. So that's my 2 cents. Absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
Hey, how much we gonna see on you on the show, man?
I don't know, man. They follow me around a lot, so we gonna see.
You didn't cuss nobody out on camera, did you?
Man, I was a couple times I was mic'd up and forgot, so we gonna see. We gonna see, bro.
They're gonna have a lot of bleeps and skips.
You already know how I go, man.
All right, pick your feet up, son. Yeah, because look, even the dude that's trying out for drum major hit them with that is not the marching style of the dance. I was like, it's starting to catch on. What if the kids using the terminology, you already know.
Definitely.
And it probably was hot outside too.
It's Texas. It's always hot outside, bro.
No, it's cold right now, brother. That's why you got the hoodie on.
Touche. It is 46 degrees. I ain't moved down here for this. You're right.
I
46 degrees.
I knew it.
It's
cold outside, dog.
That ain't cold, boy. You fool.
No, it's 12 degrees outside here, dog.
Yeah,
y'all come get some of this. Right, come get some of this 12.
You got it. You absolutely got it.
I got to walk Hooch in about a little bit, so y'all pray for me.
Hooch would be Hooch will put himself outside.
Hey, no, hell no. Look, Hooch get out there. He feel that cold. He come. Hey, let me do what I got to do and get in this house.
All right, man. That's all we got, man. I appreciate everybody for joining us. Let's do it the right way by closing it out right. So Rick, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Yeah, man. It was a great show tonight, man. To get the Smiths brothers back together. Get Doc on here. I think we've all said it all night, man, but I'm just going to continue to say we need to support each other better, man. Quan said it. Every single person on here said it. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like Hop. You don't have to like the groups we work. You don't have to like nothing. But as Black people, we have a responsibility. It is our responsibility to make sure that we all move forward. Not just me, not just us, all of us. So I think that at the end of the day, man, if we go more into that, with that in mind, when we go into the things we do in daily life, life will be better. What I'm listening to now, y'all pray for me. Matter of fact, I need everybody watching. I need your prayers. I submitted the first page of my comp exams 2 days ago, and I got question 2 yesterday. So I plan on writing 15 pages that turned into 30. So I would definitely appreciate all your prayers, but just in light of that, man, just continue to be great to one another, man. Continue to support HBCU band culture. I'm listening to a lot of jazz right now because it has to do with what I'm writing about. If you want some really interesting music, I don't even like calling it jazz because it's so much more. Go check out some Maria Schneider. Maria Schneider. She's really hip, man. Lady out in New York. Oh, she's from Minnesota, but I've been listening to a lot of her music because I'm doing some writing about it. So if you want some good music, some nice relaxing music to listen to tonight, that's definitely a good one. And that's all I have, man. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah. One more thing. I'm sorry. I am also the caption head in the hop. I'm gonna call you because I want them kids, man. But I'm the caption head of the Mandarins Drum and Bugle Corps out of Sacramento, California. Everybody that knows me knows I've been with the Blue Coats for the last 8 years. I'm no longer with them. Now with the Mandarins, we're a finalist corps just like the Blue Coats. So awesome experience for your kids. If you have some kids that are interested in marching drum corps, please reach out to me. I'm looking to get people like us involved in the activity, people that look like us. It was one of the most important experiences of my life, and I feel like I want to give that same experience to others. So if you have some kids that are interested in marching drum corps, please reach out to me. So that's it. Thanks, y'all.
All right, Quan. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Alpha stinks.
Okay. Hey man, y'all continue to check y'all mental health, man. We had a great secondary sessions on Monday. Had opportunity to meet Mrs. Brown. Great knowledge and whatnot. Man, check that, man. At the end of the day, we all are dealing with something as educators. Be mindful. Self-care is love. Take them days off if you need one. We're talking. Sometimes you just need a nap. Go and take it. It's okay. Again, like we've stated already, support the march. I think this is something big. If we look out through history, our, of course, biggest movie that we had was Drumline. And then after Drumline, we had honestly an influx of students joining band. And I think we had the Alabama show, then we had the Bethune-Cookman show, and now this right here. So support it, man. And let's continue to teach kids the right way. And I think tonight, Prof said it the best. We major in a lot of minor things. Let's reverse that. That's all I got.
Quan was Miss Brown. I saw that show, man. She kind of cute, man. I might have to spit that water at her, man. You think you can hook me up, Quan?
Well, I mean, her name was Mrs. Brown, so she may already be taken.
Mrs. Brown. I'm gonna have to go spit that water at her. Hey, Miss Brown. Nah,
man. Very, very beautiful lady, man. Real talk.
She all right.
So, Rick, I'm gonna see if this one works with all this alpha hate you got. Let me see.
Haters will hate always. That's what they do. They hate.
Yeah.
Hop.
Oh man.
Anyway, Hop. Man, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, brother?
Man, just piggybacking off what you guys said, man. Check your mental health, man, and let's continue to move on with it upward. Let's make sure we continue to teach these kids, man, proper technique, and just being there, man. Remember that it's about students. I think my man Sebring said it best, man. It's about the students, not about what the unqualified have to say, man. Do what's best for these students. And man, I also want to say, man, I'm super proud of y'all fellas, man. Rick, Luke, Quan, y'all killing it out there, man. I'm very proud to see what Talk That Talk has turned into, and Rick, you're gonna kill that thing with your doctorate. This won't be my last time here. I do work for the Storm, so we work 30 hours a day. But on days that we do get out, fairly early, man, I definitely want to make sure that I drop in with you guys, man. I think what you guys are doing is needed. It's necessary. We got to start having these hard conversations. Otherwise, there will be no change. So I appreciate you guys having me, man, and I'll be back.
Yeah, he's absolutely right, man. I've been trying to get Hop for a while. He'd be like, man, hey, I got practice now. It's tight.
It's tight on marching season. Right. You ain't getting no parts of Hop during marching.
Ain't getting no parts of the Hop. But no, let me go ahead and close out by saying this, man. First of all, I'm actually glad that I got to see Dr. Sanford again, and Dr. Sanford joined the panel, man. Me and Rick been kind of going back and forth with this. Rick was very instrumental on getting Doc on, and then we had some mishaps last week, but we got it to work. So it was good to see Doc, and I will also say it's actually good to see me, Rick, and Hop, not physically in the same place, but all three of us in the same spot once again, man. It's been a very, very long time since we've all been together. So it's a good thing to see and be around. It makes me feel like 15 again, man. So
great band. 15, 16,
times, man.
16
Good
times.
times.
Yeah.
Hey,
definitely.
Hey, Luke, we got to tell them, hey, Quan, me, Hop, and Luke are all going to be at TMEA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We will. TMEA, man. So if y'all want to come meet us, man, come say hi. Don't be disrespectful because we're
going live on Wednesday still at TMEA. We still doing the show at TMEA on Wednesday. So
I'm coming up on Friday, man. We have to play for the Rockets on Thursday.
Oh, okay. Smith's daddy.
Yeah, we just got the call, so we'll be doing that on Thursday. But I'll be up on Friday.
Yeah, okay. So come meet us. And I was looking in the comments, man. We got some goats in the comments. Shout out to Mr. Larry Jenkins, assistant band director over at Tennessee State. Good friend of mine for many years from the great city of Portsmouth.
Yes, brother Jenkins.
Over there. What's up, Fred?
My guy.
A bunch of people. Chuck, you didn't come in tonight, but good show tonight, fellas. I love
you. Yeah, man.
Let me say this. Real talk. I'm gonna take over a second. No, all jokes aside, I think you gentlemen, you deserve roses too. I think you guys are great band directors and y'all future goats as well. Kind of like y'all little brother, and I'll be peeping y'all out on a lot of things. And a lot of the times you don't have to be the loudest person in the room. Like you have to humble yourself, real talk. And who that tapping from? You got to humble yourself, real talk, and make sure that like you surround yourselves around great people and people that are doing great things. So like I said, man, keep doing what y'all doing because I know it's not an easy task either. Because if it's hard for me at the high school level, I damn sure know it's hard at that collegiate level. So, man, just keep doing what y'all doing. I'm one of y'all biggest fans, Return.
Man, we love you too, man. We love you, bro. Larry, we got to get you on the show, bro. We got to get you on here. But go ahead, Julie.
And then another thing I do want to say, I know Quan kind of hinted on it, but on Mondays we do I do have another show called Secondary Sessions. Secondary Sessions is specifically for secondary music educators and band directors, where we do have those conversations about what's going on in the secondary schools. So if you're a secondary director or if you're a secondary music educator, I definitely implore you to check that out. We definitely had a great session on this past Monday, man, and really we've gotten a lot of feedback from that, man. So if you haven't checked, if you haven't been able to check out that episode, you can also go into the Passion Is Network, man, and go ahead and click on all of the lives, and it's going to be right there. It's after this one is going to be the top thing, so you can definitely check that out. All right. Other than that, that's all.
Nisha asked me to put the name up again, and I ain't want to interrupt you. I was trying to be.
You could have typed it in the chat.
No, I'm not, because I'm not on YouTube. I'm not in the comments, Julia. I'm in the show. Quan.
You could have typed it in the chat. Like it's a whole chat area for you to type.
Yeah, but Omega's not multiplicative.
No, in the comments part, it does. I don't have a box at the bottom to type. So Phoenicia, this is her name right here.
That's what happens. Omegas don't have good internet.
Man, shut up. You look who talking. Many times you to cut off on the show.
That's why I'm on the school internet. Well, I'm on the school.
Good job. Smart. Hey, before you go though, I need you to stick around though. Before you go, all right. Other than that, man, it's been a great show. I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Dr. Sanford, Josh, man, y'all go follow Josh Williams, man. Josh Robinson, my bad. He actually is doing really good things with his kids, man. So check him out, man. Y'all continue to watch March, continue to support the channel. We will see you guys next Wednesday.
Production.